foreign secretaries that they send that letter through their foreign secretary or foreign office to the SAARC secretariat. That is the procedure. We have sent it, I have sent it from Pakistan Foreign Office, the two requests. One is regarding apex body, the other is regarding our declaration. But as I said in the earlier session, that unless on the officers level meeting, this issue will not come on the agenda, it will not come on the agenda of the Council of Ministers meeting or Secretaries meeting or later on the SAARC summit. So if you have not done that, please do it as you go back. Main focus of 7th April has been that request to include SAFMA's protocol on the agenda of the 30th SAARC summit has been made to the Secretariat to Pakistan Foreign Office and other foreign ministries. Hopefully, if we did effective lobbying with our governments, this issue should come on SAARC's agenda. We have, in fact, most of the governments support this, like Sri Lanka does not have this problem, Nepal does not have this problem, Maldives and Bhutan. We have now very solid promises from the leadership in Pakistan and leadership in India, and now I think the ball will be the court of Mr. Riazuddin Ahmed and M. Musharraf Khan. As we will all meet at our second SAARC Journalist Summit, South Asian Journalists Without Frontiers at Dhaka on January 6-7, 2005, we will together persuade the member countries of SAARC to accept our demand for access to and free flow of information, including free movement of journalists and media products across borders. Similarly, we will formally place our protocol on freedom of information on the record of SAARC, so that a process is initiated to adopt it as a covenant of SAARC to overcome information deficit in the region. Following in the footsteps of SAFMA Pakistan, who in its second national conference elaborately amended all those provisions in various laws that adversely affected media freedom, right to know and freedom of expression, SAFMA national chapters of India, Nepal, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka have done a marvelous job by completing the exercise in their respective countries. Now is the time for that all SAFMA national legislation on the freedom of information. During the year 2004, SAFMA has passed through a process of devolution from the Central Secretariat to the national chapters. Some more imbalances in SAFMA, such as underrepresentation of women journalists and our colleagues from the electronic media. All SAFMA national units must at least ensure 20% representation to women colleagues in their decision-making bodies and all conferences and workshops. Effort should be increased to include more journalists from the electronic media. We are initiating joint electronic media productions by making 2 documentaries as recommended by the Electronic Media Committee that met in Kathmandu. There are some amendments being made, proposed to the Constitution to make the work of national chapters and Central Secretariat more harmonious. This annual report summarizes all the achievements and shortcomings and also includes the budget for year 2004-2005 and the sources of funding. Audit report will be finalized by the regional executive body meeting in the light of proposals to be forwarded by the national units. Now the report, I will not read the whole report. It explains elaborately like results and achievements about the website. I think now our hits have crossed 800,000. That's a good achievement, but still it is not accessed. Even SAFMA members do not know the address of SouthAsianMedia.net, and I think few access from SAFMA, others access. Similarly, we have exchanged with some newspapers, especially in Bangladesh and in Nepal, and also one or two in Sri Lanka, we have exchanged banners with them. But in India and Pakistan, I think this is the most discouraging side, that we have not been able to exchange banners with other newspapers. Then South Asian Journal, we have 6 issues so far we have published, and the good news is that I received a good message from the President that he will be subscribing to South Asian Journal. Very good.
How much?
subscribing for one issue 800 rupees. Thank you much, Mr. President. So we, around this, we in fact have developed a very good network of academicians and experts in the region. Now we access the experts and they don't refuse us, since they are finding a very good platform to write for. And we will need your support to expand its market and it reaches all the right people, think tanks and institutions and libraries and people. I think we need in particular support from the Sri Lankan chapter. South Asian Journal is orphan in Sri Lanka. And some support in Bangladesh as well, where Mr. Yaduddin could have given more support. The media monitor, we have this year, it will be a very elaborate report, not missing any day or any attack. Whatever was on the net we could collect. It will be a big report this year. We will be discussing this in the regional executive body, whether to follow up like as was suggested in the earlier session, that we should be following up about the attack on the press, raising voice for those attacked. This can be done and taken up in the executive body meeting. We have given, Sadaf has given reports to the last 10 months to the chapter presidents. Please send that report the next 15 days back to Sadaf. If you will not send, we may carry mistakes. You will not hold us responsible unless you remove those mistakes in the next 15 days. Then this Pakistan, this has been reported. Media monitoring. Yeah. Regarding the national conference, I will make 2 comments regarding the national conferences. That the Pakistan National Conference was in fact the follow-up of the first conference, in which we amended all laws, media laws, and prepared very detailed amendments to the all laws, media laws in Pakistan. The exercise was also done in Nepal, and a very good report was produced, which was overall report, but not clause-wise amendments were proposed, but overall conceptual paper, of which identified the clauses and the areas which need to be amended or improved. In India, we had a very good conference on the state of media there, the kind of pressures in the press, just not media laws, and that was a very lively session, in fact, conference on which various aspects were covered, just not media laws. So we'll expect a very good post-conference booklet on that, and if they could take the trouble of transcribing and editing properly, and they have the capacity more than us to produce a good post-conference booklet, that will be very useful for the whole media in the region. Similarly, in Dhaka we held the conference, but that had to be postponed, the national conference, because of the attack on the Awami League rally. They did produce a report evaluating media laws, but that conference was adjourned and has yet to be reconvened, and I hope that will be reconvened before our SAARC Journalist Summit, and they will also elect their regional their national executive body. In Sri Lanka, we had the conference on media laws that produced a very good report, critical report on different media laws. And we also expect a good post-conference booklet from there. Let me remark along with this that there is a tendency in the chapters not to include other sections of the media or some people who were real, in fact, who laid the foundation of SAPMA. They are a great asset to us, and they are the founders of SAPMA, and we are proud of them. But they need to open SAPMA to variety of people from the media, so that it becomes really a mainstream body. If you just close the doors on other people, this will become again a kind of an NGO which we have, a lot of NGOs we have, and they don't have any effective role to play. So my emphasis is making SAPMA very broad-based, just not capital-centered, just not male-dominated, just not dominated by one language group or one region or one ideology or one view. It should be broad-based. Since we take decisions with consensus, so there is no problem that one view will be isolated or one section could be excluded. That helps us to bring people together. We should be inclusive, not exclusionary. There is this tendency, but I think in Nepal we were able to broaden the SAFMA national chapter. In India, the conference, for the first time, 30-35 people came outside of Delhi, but yet the SAFMA chapter in Delhi is Delhi-based, centered. There is also a problem that if you bring people on the executive body from different states of India, you will have to have resources to have their meeting and coordination thing. Hopefully, if we have the office in Delhi, for which we have resources, we'll be able to mobilize the media from outside Delhi as well and engage them as well. In Sri Lanka, I would say that we have a very good team there, but SAFMA chapter needs to be expanded. It is not inclusionary still this time. It has included some people, but it has to take other people like people from Free Media Movement and some people from Right Editors Guild and other sections, and we have very happy to have a report that we have very good Tamil representation, and that is because of a very democratic attitude of our Sinhala journalists who lead the SAFMA chapter in Sri Lanka. That is very appreciable, that they encourage the Tamil inclusion. I'll pay tribute to Mr. Jalaluddin's leadership in Bangladesh, and also Iqbal Subhan Chaudhary and Farooq Subhan and our other friends, that they, in fact, national conference are being held jointly by the Press Club of Dhaka and Federation of Bangladesh Journalists and all groups. They are very much divided on political lines, but on SAFMA, Mr. Jalaluddin did a remarkable job. We should follow his example in Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka and elsewhere, that bringing all sections of opinion together. And if all these people get together, in Bangladesh, for example, they can bring, they want any kind of changes in the media laws. And nobody will be able to stop the march of SAFMA in Bangladesh. And it should be the example which we should follow elsewhere in chapters. But there is a big gender imbalance. Despite our quota, we fixed that at least 20% representation. A report will be presented later on by Bandana Rana, proposing a subgroup within SAFMA to make SAFMA more gender friendly. The other conference was held in Dhaka, as I reported. It was basically on regional cooperation issues, and we had a very good roadmap developed and guidelines regarding regional cooperation. And we have a very good document, a post-conference document, which is available. That was a very successful conference, I would say. We had a very good experience of having top experts from the region, and I think the experiment with the experts is very good. Even on the media issues, we could get better papers from the experts than the media practitioners. Like our SAARC Journalist Summit, we had very good paper from an Indian lawyer, and similarly from other people. So that experience was good in the sense that we could get better judgment on our activity as well.
Keep it.
Yeah. So that conference in Dhaka, we were engaged almost the top experts from the region on different issues. Then the very important conference was held in New Delhi on interstate conflicts. We had very good papers from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from India, from Nepal and Sri Lanka on the interstate conflicts. And it was a very well attended conference, although the top were absent. I don't know why the top Indian editors, we have a new category of editors in India who do not mix with the community, I think. Perhaps, I don't know what are the reasons. Mr. Katyal will be able to better explain.
Not many editors are getting downgraded.
So, but it was a very good conference, which issued a very detailed declaration on those interstate conflicts, and remarkably well, that was done without any big polemic. I think gradually we are now take less time in agreeing on consensus or reaching a consensus. That conference was in fact followed by the journalists across Kashmir, LOC. The 16 journalists from Pakistan went to the other side of the Kashmir, including myself, and they were picked from different media organizations, both electronic and print. We had in fact set a criteria to select the journalists. We were very careful about the first visit. We could not have the freedom of bringing everybody on board because that opportunity was being opened the first time. So we did not want to utilize that opportunity that doors are closed forever. We wanted the windows to be turned into big open doors so that this free movement across no-go areas become possible. I'm happy to say that the journalists who were with us, they reported marvelously well. I value their reportings. They tried to rise above, to the best of their capacity, above the government positions, and whatever this are, they reported. And I think Pundits will be the most happy section of society there, that the way they have been reported, with a very sympathetic consideration for their plight. And they did not ignore. Every report you will find this. Now that, ironically, that became a historic visit. There was nothing historic about that except that they were taking place for the first time in history. But we had a very big problem regarding the role changing from those reporters to becoming the ambassadors. We were not representing the government of Pakistan, but we were seen as if that we were coming from Pakistan, so that we were representing Pakistan's position, and that's why we were being asked by our journalist colleagues very loaded questions. And there I realized, in fact, that how media is divided and how media is part of the conflict, how media is part of the heart. That was it also. Now we have a very strong case that there should be no-go areas for journalists. All areas should be open for, and I am encouraged by President Musharraf's announcement, if that is really translated into a visa regime, a new visa regime for journalists in Pakistan. It was widely covered by the electronic media, but not that much by the print media elsewhere, but in Kashmir media covered it extensively. I have a huge pile of reports, and it will be very interesting when we will produce a booklet of the write-ups by the writers and an evaluation of the write-up, that's all. We will not write anything else. So that visit came to close on 8th, and on 9th the conference started on interstate conflicts. So it became very rewarding experience. Now our friends from other side, Delhi and also Jammu and Kashmir, are on a visit now. Their visit has now started. They will be leaving tomorrow for AJ&K and Gilgit. And I have told them if they will go fly to Gilgit and will not be able to come for 15 days, so they will be going on their own responsibility. So we'll be launching a charity campaign for the return back home. No, but they will have to travel 14 hours by bus. So this is the latest thing. And on interstate conflict, we had a very useful conference in Kathmandu, and I must appreciate the role played by Sharmini Boyle and Amin and her young television, Asia Television, in Colombo. It was a marvelous conference, and we had, and Katyal Sahib was there. It was very lively discussion there, and we had a very heated debate, especially with our Bangladeshi journalists. Since they were claiming that they are very fair to Chakman tribe issue. I doubted their credibility, so I'm always a victim.
They are not provoked at.
I tried to provoke.
You took an anti-Bangladesh position.
Yes, very anti-Bangladesh. Oh, sorry about that. So, but we had on that we had also very good acquisition. So that was the last conference, and this conference was planned, in fact, as a culmination point of all our conferences in a thematic spiral. kind of spiral. So here we address the issues of media reconciliation and also our 4 SAPMA conference. From here, we will be going to Dhaka on 6th, 7th or 7th, 8th?
7th, 8th, arriving on 6th.
What is the
The dates for the summit.
7th?
SAARC summit will be on 9, 10, 11 closing.
Okay, then
So
7, 8.
ours will be 7, 8.
So 7, 8 will be, and criteria will be setting in the our university body. And we must realize also that we must set criteria for every conference. For example, if there is a conference or interstate conflict, we should call a journalist who write on the issue or report on the issue, so that we are able to engage right journalists and the proper journalists, and thus broadening our base as well of support or coalition of SAPMA. Or for example, interstate conflicts, some all issues of governance, issues of democracy, issues of also to different people. I know that, and you know that we have expertise in journalism, so we should be engaging them accordingly or setting the criteria accordingly. And I do appreciate that delegates were in the conferences, mostly were selected on that criteria, but still we have to improve our criteria in selecting delegates. This is regarding activities. Now there are 1 or 2 issues that we should be now going towards more positive themes about our vision for South Asia, and also we should be setting targets in a way which are achievable, and the launching campaign around those targets or goals, as we have done in the past. The next thing is that regarding devolution process, devolution is not complete, and we should complete it, I think, if we are possible, by the first quarter of the next year. The offices, you should establish your offices, and you should plan your whole year activity. We have made the funds available, and plan your activities, but you will have to follow very strictly our manual of project manual operation, which is very strict. Budgeting and auditing should be very transparent according to the budget lines and according to the set criteria. We cannot afford that a single penny remains unaccounted. We cannot afford. But our audit report has been rated as the best in South Asia. Our last report. And that is being, I think, perhaps being circulated for different people in the region. We have 2 main sponsors so far. One is Norway, and Netherlands has joined this year in a big way, since Netherlands is presiding the European Commission. And these 2 donors are very good in the sense that they have been very flexible in meeting our increasing demands. Number 2, that they have never come to us with any condition that you do this or that. Even they don't want their names on these banners. And what they want is very strict accountability of the account, which is their right and which we should observe even if they don't demand. But let me assure you that SAPMA will not have a single penny in its account. Because the day money will come in SAPMA's account, we know that money makes people fight each other. So we did a very creative thing, that we established a Free Media Foundation, put on the board of directors the most senior people who are members of SAPMA. They are holding the purse, and we identify the activities, and they release the funds. So this is how SAPMA is the first kind of organization in South Asia which doesn't have any account. Account is of Free Media Foundation. It identifies activities but doesn't spend money. That is a good innovation. When you will be establishing the chapters, these chapters should not be confined to the capitals. As we have done in Pakistan, we have chapter in Islamabad, we have chapter in Karachi, we have chapter in Punjab, we have their office bearers, and now they manage activities. I do not know what's happening about the tour of the journalists to AJ&K because our Islamabad chapter is handling that. Next SAPMA conference will be in Karachi, so they will be handling the whole thing. So I think that will help us to expand SAPMA across the regions within the countries. So this is my report, and there is, however, one other donor which has shown interest, that was the Sida Peace Building Fund, but there was a problem there because of their own some structural limitation. I hope that they will also come on board next year. Lastly, I will come back to this South Asian Media Development Center and South Asian Media University.
But before that, will you kindly clarify, say for Bangladesh chapters and the budget proposal in September, I think, September or October, but you, no response is from the Secretariat, but you have alleged that some sectors are not working, but we are trying to gear it up, but I'm not sure what's the gap between the chapter and the Central Secretary. Because we have sent the whole project as per your proforma.
We haven't received from the Bangladesh chapter the detailed budget. If Farooq has told you, he does a lot of things, does little things. That you have to recheck. We do respond very efficiently to the. We will release the funds. They will get your. But there is one important thing, that we can transfer funds to a registered body. In India, we have this problem, still facing this problem. We signed a contract with the Press Institute of India. Our chapter's experience is not good. They will be searching for some new NGO registered with which to sign the contract, so they handle the funds and audit issues. In Bangladesh, the problem is the same. But it can still be resolved. In Nepal, we have done very excellent arrangement with the Century Plus Award. It's doing very well. They are not charging any fee for that. So we should find an NGO which doesn't charge any fee, but just handles the budget and audit side according to our criteria. That is regarding our university. That is. We are undertaking a feasibility study. We will engage some top mass communication experts from the region to prepare a feasibility report on a diploma for journalists on job training and for postgraduate courses, and also a feasibility report regarding the complex itself. So we did not have a land we have been promised. I think we'll get it now. And as we get it, we have a promise from the UNDP chief to convene a meeting of prospective donors. So we can then have also, we'll discuss in the regional executive body meeting, that we can have some cultural show to raise funds. If Dilip and friends from New Delhi help us, we can have a show there, we can have a show here to raise funds. We will discuss this.
The Germans had shown some interest in German Foundation and some others.
Yeah.
I think we need to pursue that.
On that, we'll discuss this matter in the meeting tomorrow, regional executive body meeting. If you have suggestions, that's why I'm raising this up here, that we will have an advisory board for this from the whole South Asia. We should have top academicians and top editors on the advisory board. And then board of governance, since it will be based in Pakistan, that will be local. But advisory board will be policy and setting the direction, so that we will be collectively doing, and the board of governors will be implementing, in fact, the recommendation of the advisory board. We will phase it in different phases. We can't start it in the next 2 years. We can initiate the work and start from building it in phases. So that we will have a real South Asian media campus and South Asian media faculty and South Asian students. I had referred to the fact that we have established a big network of academicians and experts from the region by virtue of our South Asian Journal. What we had planned a conference of experts, South Asian experts. We postponed that for 1 week. Instead of having 2 conferences, we will have one, and before that we will form groups, cross-country groups, to investigate, do research and propose policy alternatives. When they would have done that, we will hold a conference where they will be presenting their recommendations and executive summary of that, and we will publish in book form those research-based policy alternatives. And we would like to get your support in this. Zebulisa is doing the networking. We will need support from Raja Mohan, from other people, from Punjabi and from Bangladesh, and all over region of your support, so that we are able to form the groups of the right people. That will be a think tank of South Asia, by South Asia, without any spending on big buildings for the research institutions where nothing happens. And we will have very concrete and substantial reports to pursue and follow. So that is the idea, and that campus can also house this kind of research facility. We will engage here, we will have a first meeting here in the next month. We have very lot of good people who were in the media or are still with the media but have been sidelined because of their policy differences, very good minds. We would like to engage everybody who could contribute to this. We will have very top academia. We will be benefiting from the presence of Director of the World Heritage Forum and Mr. Christopher Warren, and also some other universities, the universities throughout the world. If we could develop a faculty like that, a professor comes and take a seminar and goes back of say 20 hours or 30 hours seminar, then on the side of we can invite editors, top columnists, top reporters who can train and educate, and we can invite experts from the region to build their orientation. So we will be pooling a lot of resources. There will be no monopoly of SAPMA over that, nor of any particular ideology or view as we do in SAPMA. It will be very broad-based, pluralistic. So we would like to get your feedback on that. Kindly, you have our address, sapma@hotmail.com. Please continue to send us your proposals. And we may create a group tomorrow in our executive body to handle these issues. So this is a summary of my report, sir, and I'm now tired, and you can have an open session.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Imtiaz Alam, Secretary General. He has given a very elaborate report, which is self-explanatory. But if there are something to be discussed, if something is omitted, please point it out. I now put it in the open house for discussion.
Gender guidance has been printed in this booklet as well, and we of course request all of the chapters to disseminate this as far as possible. But the most important fact about the gender conference was that if you look at the conferences that has been held from SAPMA this year itself, it's been dealing with interstate conflict, intrastate conflict, and now with the reconciliation in South Asia. Where are the women of South Asia in all these conferences? What have we talked about any gender impact or concerns in these areas? Look at the paper presenters. The majority of them have been male, and not a single paper has touched on the gender aspect. So what I mean to say is that we have known that men have created war and women are very good in creating peace. So unless and until, like if we say that SAPMA is propagating norms and values of democracy, a democratic and free process, then I think we very much should include women's perspectives and women's concerns and gender concerns, particularly because conflict really affects women directly or indirectly. So these are some of our concerns, and these were the concerns that were raised at the Kathmandu conference. So SAPMA Secretary General committed publicly that there would be 20%, SAPMA was committed to 20% representation of women in every conferences and also in the decision-making bodies of every chapters, and also in gender mainstreaming in its content as well as in its presentations and formulations and policies. But if we look at the conferences that has been held after the Kathmandu conference, which is one was held in Dhaka, the other in Delhi, Sri Lanka, and this one. So this is the fourth one. If you look at the composition and the participation of women, it has still been very low. So if we just have conferences and give public commitments, which never gets implemented, I mean, it's no point. So we, Sharmini, myself, and Lakshman Gunashekhar from Sri Lanka, we met in Sri Lanka again to take this thing forward last month. I think it was early this month. So we to take this thing forward, and we proposed that we have a gender subcommittee with the terms of reference, which would be to monitor that the commitment made by SAPMA is really implemented. And we proposed that there would be 2 people from each chapter, so 1 male and 1 female, to have a gender balance, to monitor the commitments made, particularly in in policy formulation, where the gender integration has been there, and also in the composition of the national chapters, and also in the participation and the paper presentations, including the gender aspects as well. So this committee would at least ensure that this is implemented, and also to give directives and input whenever required to have these gender concerns in these areas. So these were some of the concerns that we have taken forward, and Imtiaz has very kindly accepted to be in this subcommittee from Pakistan. We have suggested some names, but we would appreciate if the national chapters would come up with 2 individuals' names to be in this subcommittee, and make sure that in the forthcoming conferences we upheld what we have committed. So I think Sharmini would like to add some more things if you would want to be there. Thank you.
We can give it some good name, but I really fully agree that we agreed, and I propose here as this before house, full house, that we should have minimum 20% representation in our national executive bodies, in our committees, whether electronic media committee, whether any committee or regional executive body, and in all conferences, a delegation should not be considered as complete valid. It should be considered as illegitimate delegation with having no vote and voice. They may be, Katyal Sahab may send a delegation of 100% male delegation, but that should not have vote, should not have right to voice. That should be speechless delegation. And when Vairoj Sharma will be in a speechless delegation, he will die and bring 40% representation. So I'm not saying Vinod is encouraging that women participation. I'm not, he's a friend of mine, so I have to take liberty from him. But the most male chauvinistic chapter is Bangladesh. Under the great leadership of Arthur. Attack him, take out a procession against him. Again, the second chauvinist speaking. So these 2 young reporters came because of my intervention. So I am proposing in the constitutions a quota for the secretariat. That if you will not bring women journalists, we will be able to invite women journalists directly from that chapter, violating the so-called national sovereignty. So that to ensure the representation. I think in this conference we see a balance of different age groups, perhaps. Am I wrong? I think I'm wrong. Still, the balance is in favor of middle age, not young, the representation of the young journalists is not that very well proportionate. We should be looking into that as well. Then thirdly, electronic media representation is weaker. That we should activate our committee. We have some of the members here. We will formalize this committee. This is formalized, but we will again review this committee in our tomorrow's meeting, and we'll invite Shiri Pasha and Shamini Boyle and Bandana and also 1 or 2 from Sri Lanka and India as well, so that we could have some input on the electronic media side from them, and we will be forming this committee formally so that they could induce life into this. And of course we have 2 documentaries on the agenda. That is also being done to build some capacity in this, then we can go for bigger projects to start with as joint productions.
But
So this is an agreement on this, that there should be minimum 20% representation. Minimum doesn't mean that out of 10 there will be always 2. But there can be 4, there could be 5, there could be 6. So that their participation is ensured. And I have proposed the amendment to the constitution that there will be now 5 members for each country in the regional executive body. Why I have done this? Because I failed to persuade Mr. Katyal, my elder, to add 1 male journalist to 3 male
We
journalists.
provided 50%.
So they weren't the journalists.
1 out of 2.
So now I have, I'm proposing this amendment that there should be 5 members of the committee, so that we have a 5th member who is women journalist from Indian chapter in our regional executive body.
No, you will not intervene.
let it be a gentleman's agreement that the national chapters will select their
no
own.
gentleman.
Yes, national, national chapters will select their own delegation. Of course, the criteria will be fulfilled.
What I am saying is, I do not expect your national sovereignty, nor should you respect mine as a media person. What I respect is that we set a criteria and you observe a criteria. I will intervene where I will find that you are not observing the criteria. For example, if there is no representation in your delegation from the electronic media, I will tell you, please bring people from electronic media. If you will not do, then I will bypass you and reach out to electronic media people and invite them.
No,
First, I will go to you.
No. In that case, you are overriding the authority of the national
If
chapter.
you will love it,
No.
just listen to me.
That's
Just
not-
listen to me. Just listen to me. I give you another example. You will have a very good unite front against me. All chapters will join against me. I know that. I am again providing you another example, and there will be another bigger unite front.
No, in that case,
Just listen to me. Just 1 minute.
yes.
I try to persuade, for example, Sri Lankan chapter, that open it to other media organizations, like say Free Media movement. I failed. I persuaded them that they should do it. I arranged their meetings.
That is what we
Listen to me. Listen to me. Tomorrow what happens? That one group of journalists belonging to having inclination with one party throws out on the basis of majority the other group with other inclinations. That will not be acceptable. For example, that if 15 people form a group and then say, okay, this is the national chapter, and we will not let enter 16 journalists into the SAPMA national chapter. So that has to be checked. Who will check it? That you form a committee of 15, you say that we have a full national chapter with 16 members, and we will not allow 17 to become the member. How will that be rectified? Tell me the way.
No, the question is that first of all, you have allowed the national chapters. You have allowed, already the national chapters are there, at least in 5 countries, not in other 2 countries. Now, the national chapters are already there. You have allowed this freedom for these national chapters. Now, the national chapters will have their own independent authority to elect their bodies, to select their delegations. If you do not allow this, then national
No, Iqbal, you could not understand him. He said, you will give the national chapter full freedom. Say 20 delegates will come to Islamabad, Lahore. It is expected that 5 of them will be women journalists. If that quota is not fulfilled, if 18 are men and 2 women, then he said the secretariat will have the right to intervene. But if the national chapter fulfills...
If it happens that tomorrow Mr. Nazaruddin brings all of his staff from Daily News and say this is SAPMA delegation.
No, he can't.
No, listen to me. It happens. Okay, there are 2 or 3 groups. They say, okay, let us have quota among ourselves, exclude the independent press.
Free media movement functions in Sri Lanka. It is not a broad-based organization. It consists of just 15 members, and they have told us that they don't have the time actually to take part in. They will come and participate in our conferences and our workshops, but they don't really have the, they're not interested in being members because they have their own media organization. So we have repeatedly invited them to join us, and in the conference that we had in Sri Lanka, in fact, out of the 15 members, 3 of the founding members were present. They made their presentations and they did not even stay for the rest of the 3 days. So that has been what we have. And I would also like to say that the Sri Lanka chapter, we in fact have tried to be representative, as you say. Even our delegation here is represented by the different media, the print and the electronic media, as well as the different language media, because we have here members of the Sinhalese media, the English media and the Tamil media, because all these. So I think whilst on the one hand, I can see that we realize that Mr. Alam is trying to make sure that there is no exclusivity with SAFMA and that it is open to anybody who would like to, who believes in its ideas and who would like to contribute to it. I think some of our national contexts do vary, and you have to actually respect our judgment on those kind of issues.
Yes, I was told, but there were 95 delegates. When I raised the issue, that then who are these people who are 95 delegates but not members? So then I congratulate you that this is how the membership should jump from 18 to 95. I know this, I am stating the fact. Second, when I went to Sri Lanka to hold a meeting, one day before me, they hold their meeting to elect the National Executive Body. There were how many people in that meeting? 7, 8, electing a committee of 15, or 7 or 8 or 10. So such kind of we have in Pakistan this mock tamasha of democracy, so I think we should be setting a good example. We should engage it. So I took a position that you have to have electio, but they did not hold elections in their national conference. You did not hold elections. Bangladesh chapter could not hold elections because it was postponed. So what I am saying is that when I am raising the level of democratization, I will be in fact inviting your restrictions and democratic compulsions on me as well. This is just not the national chapter should be very democratic, I should be very undemocratic. It is not possible. There are very clear checks on me. There should be very clear checks on the chapters. That one, that SAFMA should be made broad-based in each country. It must not include any significant section, because of the personal reasons or rivalries among the different groups of newspapers or electronic or print media divide or gender divide. We should ensure the participation. This was good this year, that chapters tried to diversify their delegates for different conferences. This was good this time. We saw a very different kind of journalists coming from different countries in our different conferences. That was very good. That's a positive development. Of course, we cannot take decisions on behalf of national chapters. Iqbal Subhan is absolutely right.
Free media movement, which has been highly politicized in Sri Lanka. We don't want SAFMA Colombo chapter be seen as a political entity. If the regional secretariat want us to be as a political entity, we don't mind. But free media movement is a highly politicized organization with regard to any other formation. We are not against broad-based organization. We are fully for that. We will take necessary steps within the next 2 months. But we have our reservations on free media movement.
Here in this conference, in the Pakistan chapter, we have people who are poles apart ideologically, who are very politicized people. But they work together with this minimum difference. We have people in the Indian chapter who are diverse. There is the editor of... I'm not referring to... No, listen to me. This process was, I talked to them, it was decided. I again discussed it with them when I went back to the conference. They are willing to be with us, not all. We do not want the merger of the media movement with SAFMA. We don't want, let them have their political entity separately. No, I will not justify, there were more than 25% journalists there. Even on the delegation we took to Kashmir, out of 16, there were 3 women. Let's work out the proportions. And how many are there women there who are going to J&K? That is not comparing. Even that was small number. We have better journalists in Pakistan. There could be more women journalists in that delegation. I think this is not still satisfactory.
Okay.
I am not saying that this was done, Pakistan chapter was done great thing and Indian chapter was no. We should not compare like that. We should emphasize that we should encourage the chapters that they should include.
So regarding this expanding the SAPMA movement, so I am for setting up regional offices. It could be attached with the chapter of the concerned country. But at the same time, I would also
Offices for the women journalists?
no. I'm talking
Now he's talking about regional.
the SAPMA movement. So, but you have to be very careful while taking people in. I mean, if you do it random, then maybe you will get some people in the movement or in the organization who are exploiters. I mean, you have to see that whether a person who is being allowed to become a member of SAPMA is a bona fide journalist or what. So there must be some criterion laid down there, and as part of that, those norms and regulations, people will
Your
become
concern will
members.
be taken care of. Seminars, interactions, workshops, conferences are held, and we hope it will continue. And this report regarding the national chapter budget for setting up the offices, I request the Secretary General to hasten the process, and with this thing and assuring the women journalists to fulfill their quota, can we put this report on board? Do you approve it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, the second item on the agenda is some amendments to the Constitution. They are very small, few. We don't amend the Constitution the way it's being amended in Sri Lanka, or the way it is amended in the 17th Amendment in Pakistan.
Our sentiments are being echoed by everybody here. What you
Yes.
just said was exactly what we're saying.
Yes, it will not be amended like the 17th Amendment in Pakistan or 8th Amendment of Pakistan. So there are few things. If you see your page 95, 96, 97, 98, and I hear that some constitutions are being prepared, no constitution will be accepted which is in conflict with this constitution. That should be consistent with the guiding principles of this constitution. So, page 97, paragraph 5.7, the National Executive will consist of 5 omitted, because we have given this relaxation that national chapters can have as many office bearers according to their conditions.
Which para?
5.7.
5 omitted.
They were president, they were 5 office bearers, you can have more office bearers. And third line, and as many office bearers and executive members as decided by the general body of the national chapter. General body of the national chapter. The 5.8, Central Conference, the Secretary General will scrutinize the list of delegates and suggest names to the national unit if required to balance the composition of the delegation. The next on page 98, however, if the Secretary General is from the host country, then a chairperson shall continue in office till the next conference. Why it has arisen? Because I am thankful to Mr. Katyal and the Indian National Chapter that they allowed this conference to take place here, because we were planning the parliamentary conference as well and interstate country conference there and journalist exchange. So the next turn is of India. So if to Pakistan, and while offending the national sovereignty of Pakistan and the SAARC routine here, and of course offending Mr. Zauti, the president of Pakistan chapter, that if the conference is held in a country where the Secretary is from, the chairmanship should not go, the chairperson should not go to that country.
That should also be included in this amendment.
Yes, this is added.
And
The last
the line is added.
The last line of 511, the Secretary General will time to time issue necessary guidelines and instructions to the national units to implement the work plans. There are work plans we continue to follow and they don't respond. So it should be brought into the Constitution. And the last 5.12, that is all members of Central Secretariat will be decided by the Secretary General, who will get an NGO registered with the name of Free Media Foundation that we have already done, shall have a memorandum of association committing unambiguously to the charter, objectives, goals and work plans of SAFMA and work with the Central Secretariat based in Lahore, Pakistan. All coordinators, officials and staff appointed by the Central Secretariat, Free Media Foundation shall be responsible to the Secretary General and follow the FMF's Project Cycle Operation Manual. This was our requirement when we went to SARC for association. SAFMA is not a registered body, but has still been associated because we had this foundation registered. That foundation consists of all members of SAFMA and with the Board of Governors, but that NGO's memorandum of association explicitly says and commits it to the SAFMA charter and SAFMA activities. So it is basically to fulfill the legal requirement of receiving funds and getting funds audited. We can have the similar kind of foundation registered who have in Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka and Nepal, so that we do not have this problem of transferring money to each other from the Central Secretariat. Because there is a problem in India, an NGO cannot have foreign funds for 3 years.
National laws. Because of the national
we could not amend the constitution since our original constitution. So we will have to get registered some with the name of Free Media Foundation, consisting of the founder members of SAFMA, to facilitate the work of SAFMA everywhere, and already Central Secretary has done this. So this is to legalize also in our constitution.
Registration where? Is it with the NGO Bureau or with the stock exchange or with the social?
According to the laws of your...
So any
No.
one of the three can be
joint limited company, you will be taxed.
Yeah.
And a social
But in
welfare...
the Societies Act, no taxation.
No, the point is the mechanism will have to be such as is qualified under the law of the land to accept money. We in India have, let's say, what we call the Foreign Contribution within bracket Regulation Act. Under that there are strict guidelines. And I can't, if I get money and I...
Okay, national chapter will look
So
into
we
it
have to
and-
conform to that guideline. And it depends on, it will may vary from country to country. You may like to have a trust or a foundation or whatever it may vary. But the idea is to conform to the national laws.
Thank you.
So we propose these laws, these amendments to before the House for approval.
National chapters, they're not only delving into sort of picking up people or choosing people, they are also doing a lot of other activities. Why don't we realize this? We do need a national chapter in every region, in every country, because we are holding seminars, we are holding some workshops, we are holding talk shows and some other things.
To ensure that local rivalries do not interfere with the composition of national delegations to conferences. But I have one more point to make. In para 510, Mr. Chairman, which concerns the chairperson, the second sentence reads, he will preside over the REB and SAFMC and follow the Secretary General in all organizational and other matters. May I suggest that the word follow is an unfortunate choice, and perhaps the word coordinate would better reflect a more democratic way of handling things.
Amendments are accepted in amended forms. Do you agree?
Just another thing.
No names.
Just
You will suggest ways for change.
Just another.
No names.
Just another thing.
You will not suggest names.
Just another thing. You will have the consequence of this amendment in 5 minutes. बस मान चलो अभी तक तैयार हो आगे आता हूँ that we should attach our objectives of SAFMA to the membership form. In SEPA membership form, we have said simply that whoever believes in freedom of information or press can become. But we would have written in that should agree with the objectives. We should add those objectives to the membership form. It is written in the membership form that he or she will be in agreement with the objectives of SEPA. It should be made part of the form, those objectives. Because people think that they can, they should be, that requires a commitment.
And there has to be a mechanism to find out later on whether one is adhering to those norms or
So we move to the next thing. That is, we come back to you.
We can now move to the next agenda, election of the Secretary General SAPMA. And now those who are against Imtiaz Alam can...
No, this is all.
How many nominations are there?
I really feel that SEPMA must not become personality centered. I have contributed as Secretary General in building and developing SEPMA along with you, with your full contribution. It is just not a single person's job. It is hundreds of colleagues have contributed and done in a spirit, and I thank you for the cooperation I got from you.
I am proposing Mr. Imtiaz Alam to be the next Secretary General of the
You all support it?
Yes.
No other candidate? So Mr. Imtiaz Alam is elected for another 3 years.
Thank you very much, the trust you have shown in me. But after the amendment you have passed, I would like to, if you want to be Secretary General, you will have to give me some more discretionary powers to make it available.
You must not act as a dictator. You dictate with a certain, softness.
if the Secretary General is for 3 years term, then why the National Chapter is for 2 years term?
So that I could have the very convenient changes. The constitution side is over. Don't open constitution. Bring it next. No, but this is over. So let me thank you all that the confidence and trust you have shown. But I would seriously say to you that after 3 years, we should develop 3, 4, 5, 6 our friends from different countries to be able to take up the job of Secretary General. But the Secretariat will have to be in Lahore because you don't establish Secretariat daily basis and invest again and again. Now I will request Mr. Bernard PQ.
Just a short one.
Yes, yeah, please.
I'll just take 1 minute. I would like, on behalf of the conference, to thank Mr. Imtiaz Alam for his contribution to self-funded development, and at the same time, I would advise him, as my friend and colleague Riazuddin has done, to exercise his dictatorship democratically.